Welcome back, everyone, to HalloweenHaunts365.com, the podcast. This is episode 5, done shortly after episode 4. No special guests this time around. We're going to do another video haunt review. It'll also be up on HalloweenHaunts365.com, probably middle of this week. I like to give every haunt a couple days as the headline, but you can also go to 2021 haunt reviews on our website and find everything we did this year. We have 6 in the works this weekend. I have a lot of writing to do on top of work.
That's true.
That's all right, though. We got a laptop, we keep it moving, and we love haunt season. So tonight we took a ride down to Middletown, Delaware to visit Frightland. I believe it is their 25th year of operation, if I read the shirts correctly.
Yes.
All right, so we'll stick with 25. We could be wrong. We didn't research it. We usually do. We forgot that that's what happens. So Frightland is a little different this year. It could be because it's opening weekend. It could be COVID, but we were missing a lot of the food trucks, a lot of the rides. Some things have changed for the good. Some things have changed for the bad. But we'll start off with our trip to Frightland last night. We got there with the sun still up because it's important to get to Frightland early to get your tickets out of the way and then wait around for it to get dark. You definitely want to get in the Hayride line. It gets very long. When we got done the Hayride, the line was probably another 100 feet past the actual queue. So with Frightland, we suggest definitely the VIP package. It's worth it. We've actually had nights where we didn't get out of there till 1 or 2 in the morning.
Yes. I'm home by 3.
Yeah, and it's a good time. We're not complaining about getting home late, but when you run a haunted attraction website, you need the opportunity to maybe get to another one if you have the opportunity. So we always do the VIP there. It's worth it. I think it was only 15 extra, 20.
Something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
And we ordered them online.
Yeah, so we just had to go up to the ticket booth, scan the QR code, and they gave us our passes. We hung out for a while, took our usual pictures, and waited for the sun to go down. Then we headed into the queue line for the haunted hayride, which is where you always need to start at Frightland. It's
Especially
always,
now.
especially now. Yeah, especially now. Things have gotten a little different, but we'll get into that with the hayride. So you're loaded onto the cart after sitting in your queue bar, and there's a couple videos playing with some creepy, very weird images with the rules. So the rules are important. Make sure you keep your phone away. No smoking in the hay. Didn't know that we needed to say that, but they do. All right. So the hayride, I didn't feel a lot different, anything really different from the previous years we've been there. And this is probably our 7th year going to Frightland.
No, I think what made it entertaining was the rest of the people on the cart.
Yeah,
there was a lot of newbies.
We had
a lot of kids,
some young rookies, and some older rookies who were jumping into other people's laps in front of her husband. That was pretty funny. The actors throughout the hayride, fantastic.
They were.
Great job. The actors are getting my 5 blood splats. Scenes, not a lot of new ones. Same old animatronics going on. It was hard to tell anything different. So I'm going about a 4 blood splat for the scenes because while they're a little dated, they're still entertaining. Some of the coolest animatronics, like the one with the guy ripped in half, that's always going to be my favorite because it's so cool. It's hard to tell, even looking at that guy is going to come apart. Like most animatronics, you can tell. That one you could because the guy made a nice solid form when he was together. It was a good work out of that. Some of the facades are getting a little older. I mean, you can't build a new facade every year. We understand that. So I'm going to stick with a 4 for scenes. 5 for actors, 4 for scenes. Props, we go about a 4. Keep it at about a 4 blood splat.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of because it's all the same, but the animatronics, they are pretty cool.
Yeah. Some of the timing was off. Like a lot of things weren't triggered until end of cart. So I'm gonna give Fear Factor in between a 3 and a 4. I'm gonna go 3.5, just because it did get the newer haunt fans, but the old fans it missed half the cart, so you didn't really
And it
know.
could be because it was opening weekend
It could be, yeah. So
and they need to work on the timing a little bit.
yeah, some of the timing on the props were off. I mean, the first group really didn't see much. The end of the cart did, but I mean, like I said, it was opening weekend. We were there the second night open. Oh, this could be wrong. They could have all full food and everything. And I honestly, I still like going to Frightland regardless. So we had fun. So after the hayride, we hopped on the hayride. I'm gonna give it overall of a 4.
I would agree.
4.
Yes. And then after the hayride, we got dumped into Ravenwood Cemetery.
Ravenwood Cemetery. I feel like the lighting has been better in previous years.
They had, if I remember correctly, they had more LED, like the blue lights.
Yeah, I mean the lighting changed a little bit towards the worst. I mean, they might have had lights out, they might still be working on stuff. It was early. I feel bad doing a review early, but this is the time we got to go to Frightland, so we had to go to Frightland. Um, Missing a lot of actors in Ravenwood. A lot of the props were mistimed and didn't hit to the end of the
Till
group.
the end, yes.
With that, the actors, the ones that were there were great. I didn't see a couple of them that jumped out and scared the back half of the group. So actors to us, 5 blood splats. You guys did great.
I would agree. I did not jump on the hayride, but I jumped in the cemetery one time.
There you go. So actors get a 5 blood splats out of me. Scenes, I'm down to a 3. The lighting just really, it didn't have that ghost effect anymore. Something just felt off with Ravenwood. It must be something they're working on. So overall with Ravenwood Cemetery, well, props, I'm gonna give a 4. I really like a lot of the tombstones. I like a lot of the animatronics. Timing is timing, but I always stop and watch if I miss the timing. So I'm going 4.
I definitely would agree too. 4.
Okay, 4. It's a shorter walk.
Mhm.
I mean, I would like more out of the cemetery scene, but it takes time to build.
Definitely. So then after there, if my memory is right, we went into Fear.
Yeah, Fear's always been a little bit of a creepy attraction. You can really feel the lack of actors from COVID and everyone having a hard time hiring everyone in Fear. The cool Jeep scene, which was a little faster to really scare the hell out of you, maybe a little louder. Actors, I'm gonna go 5 because one did get a hold of my leg that I wasn't expecting. So I mean, that's always fun when they get you to jump a little bit. Scenes, I go 4.
I would agree. Definitely a 4.
Like I like the closet scene where the clothes are there. I might make the clothes a little tighter so you actually have to touch them and feel the damp fabric on you and everything. So overall, Fear, I'm gonna give a 4.
Yes, I would too.
4 blood splats.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then from there, we went to Ghost Town.
Ghost Town. Ghost Town. Ghost Town's the exact same. Ghost Town's always been.
A couple of the, like you said, a couple of the props were a little delayed.
Yeah. A couple of props are delayed. The actors were great.
Yes, the actors were definitely good.
Actors with the southern accent and the cowboy accent. And
they're dressed the part.
The dresses are great. The costumes are great. The front guy was entertaining. The front of the house man, he was funny. But I mean, it's just a winding attraction that goes through an old Wild West town. You got the bank, the butcher, the bar. The bar is probably my favorite scene in that one.
Mhm.
They do a good job. They didn't have your vodka because it's not.
No, he asked me what I wanted and I told him I wanted a vodka.
Yeah.
He said he had whiskey.
Yeah, I don't think they had vodka in the Wild West. That's kind of like a Russian thing. But moving on, I mean, the scenes are just, to me, I've never been a huge fan of this attraction. I'm going 3 blood splats for the scenes after giving the actors 5 blood splats. The actors really did great, but the scenes are lacking. The props, it's a little slower of a walkthrough. Not a lot going on in a lot of the rooms. But so I'm gonna give, the actors really pulled it in. So I'm gonna keep it at a 4 blood
4.
splats instead of a
Yes.
3, just because the actors did phenomenal and they deserve the praise. So where do we go directly after?
Then after that, we went to the barn,
Oh, the haunted barn.
the haunted barn.
Haunted barn was cool. It usually is in my top attractions, but this year it didn't make it. Um, again, it's tough to fill actors this season. We're seeing that. A cool whole new room that was lit up beautifully, and
Yes.
I don't ever remember. Well, I mean, we might have walked through it, but never had a reason to look up. But now we have a reason to look up. But I mean, there was a ton of opportunity with everyone looking up to just scare the shit out of you, and it just
And
never came.
Yeah, there was nobody there.
There was nothing for a good 3 minutes of that walk. Nobody. The actors in there, the one guy was hilarious. Kept going, what's taking you so long? Why aren't you here yet?
And you had no idea where his voice was coming from.
You didn't see him. It was a little hole in the wall that he could see you through. And then it gets a little dark and he actually like kind of run into that hole, and then he's like right here. And I'm like, oh, how you doing, guy? Nice to see you. So actors getting 5. Scenes are only going to get a 3 out of me. Props are only going to get a 3. It feels shorter this year than other years, because I mean, it just always felt like we were in there longer before.
I think it felt the same.
Okay, so I'm going 4 blood splats on the haunted barn.
Yes.
Okay,
4.
very good.
Then after there, we went to the attic.
The attic. Okay. Attic is your typical blackout maze. I kind of enjoyed the attic this year. I normally don't, because we've already been through a blackout maze at Frightland, and the attic is just a second blackout maze, but that's changed. We'll get to that later. So the attic is a dark walkthrough. Actors are pretty well hidden, and there was a couple times that they almost got me. So actors are getting a 5-star.
I did miss my little girl at the entrance.
She missed the porcelain doll girl at the entrance. Yeah, she was always great. She'd been there for a long time. But that front guy was also cool too.
Yes,
he was funny. He kept you entertained. You know, gave you the directions to stay to the right, which you have to, or you're gonna walk into a wall. The biggest suggestion we'll give you is keep your left arm out front. Feel with your right arm. That's the biggest thing I can tell you about blackout mazes, because those walls will hit you in the nose.
Yes.
Before we were a website and started doing this everything, someone
I ran into a wall.
Ran dead into a wall in the black, and
Big time.
broke her nose, black and blue, raccoon eyes, and everything. So keep your hands out in front, please, no matter what dark haunted attraction you're in, because the walls come quick and you can't see them.
No.
There's no light. But the attic was fun. Couple cool props. Actors, I'm giving 5 because I didn't see a lot of them coming, and a lot of them did a good job of hiding in your plain sight. So it wasn't like a distracting scare. It was just like they're here and you don't know they're there. So actors are getting a 5. Scenes are getting a 3. Not a lot has changed, and the stuff you can see is we're off timed. I mean, I know it's tough with opening weekend, but a lot of it I had to go back and look at to really see what the effect was.
I would definitely agree.
Okay. So I'm going with the actors make it a 4 blood splats for me. The actors of
Mhm.
Frightland really did a great job last night. The few that they had, I mean, we all know it's hard, so we're not going to penalize haunts for not having actors because nobody can find help. So where we go after that?
We took a little break because that was the first break. They bring you right from one attraction to another. So then we went to Adalia Manor.
Okay, Dahlia Manor. This has always been one of my favorite attractions, and it still is.
It is cool.
Excuse me. Adalia Manor just has a funk and a feel, and it really creeps you out just being in there. We were lucky enough just to go by ourselves. We had no group with us. So we got to really just take our time and look at all the
Mhm.
details. And it is one of their highly detailed haunts at Frightland. Adalia's Manor, every turn is new. The actors were phenomenal inside. The scenes were phenomenal inside. The props were great. I mean, mistimed, but I was able to go back and look when she triggered it behind me. So I mean, it was great. Little hidden drop panels that look like plaster plaster wire, so you didn't know they were a drop panel. That was a cool touch. I
That
haven't
was
seen
cool.
that before. I like that because a drop panel you can see it's a window cut out. You know that's going to fall. Well, it's still going to scare the hell out of you if you're one of those rookies, but I know it's going to fall. They had some drop panels in there, but you know that's going to fall. But the little slide that looks like plaster sheeting, you don't know that there's someone. You don't know that that's. You think it's just a
Mhm.
piece of the wall that made it look like an abandoned house. And when that slid open, I was surprised. It was funny. It was good. I like that detail. The library room was cool. Um, they fake you out in one room where you're trying to get out of the door that says enter, and then a whole bookcase shifts and you have to go right. That to me is great.
Yeah, that was cool because I'm like, wait a minute, we're going the wrong way.
Adalia's Manor getting 5 across the board for me because it's still one of my favorite attractions. I mean, I look forward to it every year.
I would agree. Yes.
All right, so we got 5
5.
for Adalia Manor. Right after Adalia Manor, you're in for a good treat.
We went to the zombie prison.
Yep, zombie prison.
Which was totally redone.
Yes.
It was awesome.
We don't know when it was redone. It had to be last year or this year because we didn't make it out thanks to your friend COVID last year.
Yeah.
We only did 3 or 4 last year. Then we started focusing on the wedding, just because you felt the lack of everything
Yes.
after our
It was
first
just
attraction.
hard.
So we didn't want to bother all the haunts with our being out there and taking up space. We wanted them to do what they could do, and space was limited in a lot of the haunts last year, so we stayed out of it. I mean, we still were able to get the website to grow a lot, which is impressive for what 2020 was. But zombie prison,
Yes. It was awesome.
wow. Zombie prison used to be, well, it's not perfect because I want the tunnel back.
I did miss the tunnel.
You didn't have the full effect of the tunnel. I don't know if it was because it was a hot night, the fog wouldn't stay in the room to create that tunnel.
There was some fog.
Yeah, there was, but
And
that
the
pulsing light
wasn't
there.
There was a light, but
Yeah.
it wasn't that, like with the strobe.
Back in previous years, when you went to zombie prison, the opening scene was what felt like 100-foot tunnel because you can't see. There's a pulsing light at the end, and the fog would just make the whole thing flash, and so you can't see what's in front of you. So you're walking very slow.
You feel like you're walking forever.
Yeah,
And then you have people jumping.
yeah, that you can't see because you're being blinded with the fog light. It's phenomenal. I mean, it was still cool. Still took your time walking through it because you couldn't really fully see, but you could see more than you could in the past. But usually, how it would go is you would get on the elevator, they would take you down to the zombie prison, and it'd be another blackout maze. It was a cooler blackout maze than the attic, but two in one haunt.
Yeah.
We never were a big fan of that. But now you're actually in a zombie prison. The prison walls with the jail cells and the shop, and you're in a zombie prison. The bathroom was phenomenal.
The bathroom was awesome.
You hear the drip, and you know, some smells coming in, and wow, zombie prison's great now. I look forward to seeing what they go further with it, because you know they just started that by the looks of certain things. But
yes.
Once they get in there to age that and really add the Frightland spin to it, I'm excited to see what it turns into.
That was my favorite attraction.
Was it?
Yes.
All right. So you're going 5?
I am going 5.
For what it was, I'm around to 4. The actors were great, especially the elevator man. If they're rebringing Michael Myers, I think he can play that role pretty well. I was a very large man. The actors were never great. The last guy at the end walking that way, I couldn't walk that way. God.
He worked a long time, like basically crawling, but crawling.
Yeah, it was.
And he just kept following me.
Zombie Prison was such a great surprise. It was so nice to be in something brand new.
I can't wait to see what they do to expand it.
Yeah, because I'm sure they'll grow it. They have a bus out there. I'm sure they're going to end up using it too, because that bus isn't just out there for no reason.
Right.
But like I said, you can only get to so much in off seasons, especially a COVID off season. I mean, I'm sure it was fine though. I'm sure it was tough for all the haunts to find builders and set pieces. And I know there was a lot of shipping snafus in the industry, a lot of prop industries. I mean, a Frightland for me is going to get a 4 this year, but it's no lack of effort. It's not that they screwed anything up. It's just a tough season for them. The one thing that I'm going to disagree with is the first 6 haunts, first 6 attractions, you do back to back to back to back with no option to stop.
Then you can take a break, and then you do the last 2 together.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're.
But I was really thirsty and I wanted a drink.
Yeah, I mean,
and I had to wait.
Yeah, it used to be you get on the Hayride, it would drop you off at the cemetery, Fear, and then
Ghost Town,
and then you'd go back into the park, and you could get a drink, get something to eat, relax, take some pictures, hang out with friends. But now you're thrown right into the haunted barn and then the attic. So it's like 6 attractions back to back to back to back to back. You're missing out on food sales.
Yeah.
You're missing out on drink sales. I mean, I know why they're doing it. Maybe it was part of COVID to help keep 6 feet apart.
I'm wondering if because people were stopping, eating, mingling, that they weren't getting out. I'm sure they weren't getting out of there.
Yeah,
3 o'clock in the morning, and then they had to go back the next day.
Yeah, and we get why they did it, but I think it's going to hurt the sales of the food. People are going to get cranky because I mean, if you didn't eat before you got there, and then you're on, what was it, 2 hours to get through all 6?
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to deal with miserable customers, people that need a bathroom. There's 1 porta potty in between all 6. That's tough.
Yeah, I would definitely agree.
That's tough. I mean, maybe combining 3 and then another 3 maybe gives you. I understand you're trying to get the output going to keep the crowds moving forward, but I mean, 1 porta potty isn't going to help a busy night. That's going to be bad, because even on the slower night, like we went, the Hayride line was out to the.
It was probably a 3-hour wait.
Yeah, the Hayride line was out to the media post.
Yes.
And that's what, 300 yards from the queue line.
Yes.
And then the queue line wraps around itself, I think 6 times. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
about 6 times.
6 or 7 times.
So I mean, they're not going to the bathroom then. They're got to go through the cemetery. They got to go through the Fear. They got to go through the
Ghost Town.
Then they got to go through
The barn,
the barn.
then the attic.
And well, there's a porta potty right after the barn.
Oh, yes.
That's where we saw that.
There was
porta potty.
one.
And if you have groups of 10 and 15 coming together, that's going to hold you up severely. That you're going to have a huge break right there. But I mean, it could have been something they did to try and fix the 6 feet and it just never went back. We'll see. I mean,
because we didn't go last year, so we don't know when they did those changes.
Yeah, it's a change I'm not going to agree with. I mean, it's a lot of attractions without being able to get a drink, food. I mean, we don't know the people's situations. They could have just got out of work, hopped in the Hayride ride, and by the time you get on the
That's true.
Hayride, your stomach's growling.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, that really hindered the night for us, I think. It was great to see the prison change. I'm happy because I always like the idea of the zombie prison, of Adalia's worst creations in one prison, and now it looks like a prison. I was so souped when I left there. It was great. Adalia's Manor is always worth the price of admission. I mean, the Hayride's fun, but I think it's time for something new.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, Frightland will continue to come because it is fun. And
it is a fun night.
It is. I mean, they still have rides. They're not all gone. There's still plenty of kids on the rides. Food, there's still a food truck there. So people were still in line for that.
Candy, apple,
Yeah.
funnel cake.
Yeah. Cool gift shop. I mean, I wish that we had some mugs. But they had a cool
they had a lot of cool
what's that, like an insulated 20-ounce cup?
Yeah, the tumblers.
Yeah.
They had those.
It had the picture of the tower, which you'll see in the which you saw in the thumbnail. It'll be over here. But that's all we have for you from Frightland. I'm going 4 blood splats overall.
Overall, I'm giving it a 4.
And really it would have been a 3, but the actors and Zombie Prison and Adalia's Manor, I can't go 3. I have to go 4.
I would go 4.
So great job out of Frightland. It was great being out. Thanks for having us. It was a fun night. Parking all goes to leukemia, so don't complain about having to pay the $5 because it goes to a good cause. And there's a lot of cars out there. There's people got to handle a lot of traffic because there's only one way in and one way out. But bring your walking shoes. There's some walking.
It's a lot of walking.
Yeah. So from us at HalloweenHaunts365.com, that's all we have for you this week, tonight, and actually just a couple hours. We're going to head up to one of our favorite attractions, Brighton Asylum. Get to see Rich, say hi to Rich, see what his crazy self did this year, because it looks completely different every year. And I'm curious what they did with the grandstand this year.
Yes.
It'll
be fun.
I'm sure there's a whole new game. I'm sure there's stuff
maybe we can
on.
talk Stacy into going into something.
I wouldn't put her through Brighton.
No.
No. There's nowhere to go.
That's my worst fear.
There's nowhere to hide in Brighton.
No, there isn't.
A hayride, you can hide under stuff, but you can't hide in Brighton.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we have for you this week or this episode. I don't know when the next one's coming out. It'll probably be earlier than a week because we got a lot going on. We have haunts from LA coming in. I think I'll have the written review before the interview review. We got Bates Motel coming down the chain.
That's next Saturday.
Yep. We're gonna attempt maybe Penhurst.
That's gonna be fun, Bates, because we actually have someone from my work that doesn't like haunts, and we talked her into going.
Oh, the footage.
So she already said what we see there is not the same person we see at work.
All right. We've done that before where we brought new people to the haunted attractions, and it's hilarious. It's one of the funniest things. Well, that's all we have for you at HalloweenHaunts365.com, where every day is haunt season. Make sure you like, subscribe, check out the website, Instagram, Facebook, and our podcast that's on Spotify and Apple iTunes and Apple Podcasts. It's Halloween
Mhm.
Haunts 365, surprisingly. Well, that's all we have for you this
That's
week.
it.
Have a good day.
Bye.